You're listening to Rocket Night.
Are you ready? Hey, tonight I'm gonna take you on a little trip. We're going down south by the mighty Mississippi. I'm gonna take you to a place where lights never dim. Bring your mother, your brother, and your best friend. I'm gonna show you where they dance out in the street. They'll tell you all about your body heat. I'm not gonna talk about it, just gonna do it. Get on down, if you feel up good. Get on down.
This is Charisse with Rocket Night Magazine, and today we're speaking with Teddy Clarke. I recently saw him in London at the Water Rats, and I was really impressed. So I thought, wow, let's get to know who he is and get to know his music. Hi, Teddy. How are you doing?
Hey, all right. Yeah. Thanks for the nice introduction.
Yeah. I've been listening to your music on Spotify a lot in the car.
Oh, amazing. That's great. Cheers.
You have quite a collection. It looks like you just started around the time of COVID. Is that correct?
Yeah. So the first song I put out, if I remember right, it was like March 2020 or 2021, something like that. So yeah, a lot of the stuff was kind of written during COVID, and we were doing like Zoom recording sessions. So I'd record at my house, send it to the producers, a lot of back and forth. So yeah, and a lot of the songs are kind of COVID inspired, I think.
So you probably had a lot of time on your hands, and did that inspire you during that period of lockdown?
Yeah, I wrote a lot during that time. I mean, there wasn't much else to do. It was kind of just sitting in this room recording. But yeah, I think it was such a strange time. So there was a lot of stuff to write about. It was a really unprecedented time. So when better to write a song?
Yeah, I notice COVID kind of gets into the lyrics of some of your songs, like The World in Which We Play. To me, that sounds like you're writing about COVID.
Yeah, so that one is kind of about two things. It's kind of COVID and global warming, that one. So the idea of that was kind of set in some kind of like apocalyptic future where we're all on this space station because we've messed up the world too much to actually be able to live in it. And it's what is for the children, what life have they got left? So that was kind of that one.
Yeah, it's kind of an odd time between COVID, pandemics, and global warming. And we're seeing that global warming is definitely here, especially this year was the hottest year on the planet. Being a young person, how does that make you feel? I mean, do you have a sense of fear?
Yeah, I think there probably is a sense of fear with it. I think a lot of it, I try and be conscious of how much of what I'm doing is adding to that. And I think just generally being aware of, I think as individuals, we have to be aware of our impact on the climate. Because as you said, this year in particular, you can't avoid it. It's so obvious how everything is so much hotter, and there's a lot more to it than just the planet heating up. It's all the extra impact that has and what it affects. So yeah, I guess there is a sense of fear, but I think it's also about taking responsibility in ways that maybe we can help, or look at ways that we can, don't know if postpone's the right word, but try and avoid it as much as possible.
Yeah, that's interesting. When I saw you played live, yet you're called just Teddy Clarke, like a solo artist. Did you have to, well, you obviously got together a few people to form a live band. Can we talk about how that came about?
Yeah, so I'd been writing the stuff for a long time, and all the songs I do are with the same. I work with these producer songwriters called Analog and Digital. So everything I do is with them. So I kind of write a song and I'll send it. So we had all this material and I'd started releasing, and I love going to gigs. It's one of my favorite things, and I really enjoy performing. So I was like, okay, I need to sort out the live set. So it started with, the first person I got actually was Laura, who's my drummer. And we went to music college together, and she was the first person I ever spoke to. At the time, she couldn't speak a word of English. So it was, we'd kind of but we've managed to communicate, and we've been like great mates since. So I got her in, and then it was like friends of friends, or meeting people online, just sharing the music and seeing who was into it. And luckily managed to get some people who wanted to join the project.
Well, you guys sounded great live. Sounded very tight. You had a lot of good energy on stage. One thing that really stands out is the way you dress, your style. You are like a teddy boy. You are
cheers.
very,
Yeah, that's definitely part of it.
that's intentional, I presume.
Yeah. I mean, like, I'm really into like my clothes and like take a lot of time, like especially when I'm playing a gig, picking out what I'm gonna wear. So if I remember right, I had like quite a sparkly jacket on that night or something like that. But yeah, I think it's another form of expression. I think is like I love writing songs because it's like a form of art. I see the same with the way I dress.
What I notice, what makes your music different is it has a real retro sound. It does sound kind of 50s or 60s, and the structure is like what I would call a real song, where you have choruses, you have beautiful chord changes too in the lyrics. Um, I mean, in the melody. I have to say, my favorite is I Can't Wait to Forget, but the acoustic version.
Oh, nice. Yeah, well, that kind of surprised me when I put that out online. It it did really well. It did better than the actual version. But yeah, I think the acoustic version it's a bit more heartbreaking, I guess. That with the full band version, it's very like all poppy and kind of bright and upbeat, which I love, and it's really fun to play live. But I think people really resonated with the acoustic one because it's just guitar, bit of piano, and lyrics. It's a lot more like heartfelt, I guess, or
I,
easy to
I
resonate.
like the piano. It's and the sound of the song is more understated, and I listen to the lyrics more when I don't have as many instruments going on in the background. It really focuses on the vocals, I think. And it's just really beautiful. The acoustic is I just love it.
Oh,
I've
thank you.
had the earworm in my head like all weekend.
I'll take that as a win. I'll take that.
That's good. Yeah, because a lot of the songs are really catchy. Poor Man's Son, love it. Very catchy. And another one, Broken Design.
Yeah.
And they're all kind of danceable and upbeat. They're they're retro, but yet they're very alternative indie at the same time.
Well, that to be honest, those are you kind of nailed my inspirations. I love retro music, and it's kind of what I grew up on. Like my dad was really into people like the Smiths, Don McLean, just various. Like I grew up a lot with a mix of old and new music. I love indie music, so when I'm writing my songs, I just want something I can have. Like I want to write songs that I'd want to listen to, but also you said upbeat. I want something that I really like having fun on stage and kind of dancing around like a bit of a lunatic. So I think the better the danceable feel is, the more I can have fun with it on stage. And I think if I'm having fun, the audience can enjoy it more.
Well, you can move, you can dance, obviously, if it's upbeat.
Yeah, exactly. It's a bit harder
Yeah.
to do that on a ballad. Just
And I think it's always interesting when the lyrics are kind of melancholy, but yet the melody is upbeat, and you don't realize it's melancholy. You know?
yeah. Well, see, actually, funny enough to say that a lot of my songs are quite melancholy. I'm trying to challenge myself to write something
Yeah.
a little happier. Finding that a bit harder.
Are those albums behind you?
Oh yeah, I've got a load of records. Those are loads of my records.
You've got a
behind.
turntable and everything.
Yeah, the turntable's just down here, but I love listening to records. I kind of
What?
like the fact it's a lot harder to skip a song. Just put it on, listen, and
Mhm.
I think I love it.
Well, that's very nostalgic. Who do you listen to when you listen to the turntable?
Who was the last person I listened to? I listened to one of Ben Howard's album the other day. I was listening to Kate Bush this morning. She's one of my favorite artists. I think she's brilliant. Declan McKenna, who's an artist I really admire. Whoever's record I can get my hands on, I'll have I'll have a listen to.
I think that's fantastic because it's real. I think that's one thing we learned during COVID, that things that are tangible mean more,
hmm
like touching an album. You know what I
Yeah, that's
mean?
the thing. I think you were forced to be away from so much that it kind of
Mhm.
I think you think you're right. It made tangibility so much more meaningful. And during COVID, actually, is when I really got into my records. Every
Mhm.
day, I would listen to a new album, and
Mhm.
because there wasn't anything else to do, it was just kind of for me writing, listening to music.
Exactly. Are you academically trained in music, just out of curiosity, or self-taught?
No, so I had like guitar lessons as a kid, and I was always really into like theatre and things like that. So I had
Mhm.
singing lessons through doing stuff like that, and then I went to music college, but that was more for performance rather than like sitting down and doing theory. And then I did some theory lessons just because I found it interesting and
Mhm.
kind of links with the guitar and
So,
the singing.
so having a background in theater kind of explains the nostalgia as well, because they're real, what I would call real songs, real melodies, and your performance, I'm sure the theater helped with that as well.
Yeah, I think on stage and actually even the recordings, I think my stuff's quite theatrical. Sometimes I think I've got to tone it down, like, or especially with my writing, I've got a tendency to go quite out there, and I'm like, no, let's tone that, tone it back a little bit. Or even with I love a harmony, so I do loads of harmonies on my stuff, and I'm, I'm trying to teach the band to do the backing vocals for it now, and I'll get to one and be like, oh, I really I went mad on this one. I'll do like a 5-part harmony or something, but it's fun. I enjoy it.
When you've written a song, let's say on the piano, is it hard to get the band to put it, to put it together and flesh it out?
Yeah, there's a lot of like pianos and keys. I myself don't actually play that. That's one of my collaborators, Ben.
Okay,
So the way I'll normally write, I write everything on guitar,
I
and
see.
then I'll go to Ben and Joel, who I work with, and then they'll add like other parts in. So like Ben is incredible at piano, like synth pianos. He does a lot of my string lines. So it's been interesting adding that to the live thing because at the minute I haven't got a keyboard player. So we use that with we kind of sample all the pianos and strings because it's such a huge part of my sound. I didn't want to just
It's
like,
very full, very orchestral. Yeah, I love it.
I love cinematic music, so I think
Mhm.
that's been a big inspiration in all the stuff I do. But I want to say it's been a challenge. It's kind of been fun because then we'll look at ways of how to change things up slightly. So like the song that I finished my set with is called False Prophets, and the actual it's not out yet, but the recording of that is really cinematic and orchestral. And live we've made it quite like
Mhm.
punky and indie rock, I guess, because I think it's quite fun to have music live completely different, not completely different, but a different feel to the recording. I think it's a different experience, and maybe you might get a different meaning out of the lyric with it or something like that. So I've enjoyed that kind of experience of having to tailor it slightly different.
Yeah, you mentioned that you collaborate with Ben and Joel. Is it Bogan, their last name?
Yeah, Ben and Joel both
Yeah.
do analog digital.
All of your music, do you collaborate with them or just some? How does it work collaborating with other people?
Well, actually, it's everything I've put out has been with them. So I've been like working with them for. I feel like we started in like 2019, maybe. It's
Mhm.
been I've known them for years, but the way we work is slightly unconventional. Like I'll record and write everything at home and do like some kind of demo. Then I'll either send it to them in advance or bring it to the studio. We'll maybe talk through some ideas, and I can come back, and it's fun. They keep me on my toes because I'll come back and sometimes they will have gone in a completely different direction and be like, what do you think of this? Which actually, something like Broken Design, originally for me, it was really like rocky guitars. And then I came to the studio and it's this like, oh, there's reggae elements and like really synthy, which I love though, I think, because it's something I wouldn't have necessarily thought to do. And they'll play it and I'm like, yeah, it makes perfect sense. And it just like lifts the song. So yeah, it's, I really enjoy collaborating with them.
I think that's fantastic because using more than one person, you all, like you said, have a different take. They might think of it as a reggae. Looks like they do a great job with the production and fleshing out, adding those embellishments that really make it special.
But they're brilliant, and they're such a huge. I see them as like they're part of the Teddy Clarke thing.
Mhm.
They're such a huge part of the project because we do everything together. The three of us, we make sure it's.
Keep doing it because I mean everything that comes out. Bleak, I love that too. Stick and Pope, it's good. It's solid music. Now, growing up in London, is that an advantage you think in as far as being in the music industry or a disadvantage? What's it like?
I think weirdly both because there's so many like, especially with the live thing. There's so many music venues and things like that. You're disposable, and it's so disposal even, and it's so easy to meet people.
Mhm.
But the thing with London is it's so overcrowded
Yeah.
that you're also one in this huge crowd of people. But I think I'm lucky that I've grown up in London. I definitely think it has given me opportunity because it is so easy to meet people. Even like the whole band, all of us live in different parts of London, but just through the internet, we've all met and we were able to find somewhere that meet in the middle, rehearse. Same with Joel and Ben, they're in London. I think it's very like it's easy to get places, easy to meet people. So many venues, so many studios. So I think it's been an advantage. I think there's difficult parts of it, but I definitely think it's an advantage living in London.
I myself go to London just to find indie bands just like you. What's interesting on a Wednesday night, the quality of the music that I see in a small venue is superb to what I see here in America, honestly. If I were to go to a small venue, I would not see the musicianship that I see in London.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never been to America. I'd love to I'd love to play in America at some point, but
When you think of America, what do you think of? Like New York? Everybody seems to think of New York. I don't know. What do you think of?
I don't know. I've got family in America, so I've just
Oh, you
never
do?
been. Yeah, yeah, but I don't know. I think the thing that I like the idea of performing in America is it's so big. So like states could be completely different in their music taste, in their gig scenes. So I think it just must be really fun that you could play, as you said, someone like New York, and then go, I don't know, somewhere like Alabama, and it's completely different. Like,
I don't know about a lot of venues there, but Muscle Shoals and all these places, this in Alabama, Mississippi, they did a lot of recording in the '60s. A lot of good stuff came out of there. I'm just astonished at the wealth and the number of venues where you are. We don't have that. The
yeah, with
density, yeah.
sport for choice in London, you can literally walk
You
on
can go
one
in
street.
it. Every corner, there's something.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Even in something like you'll have like a music venue, then you also have pubs that have live music. There's in London, you're never short of music. There's music every night, every all times or hours. That we're very lucky in that way.
Extremely, because even on a Sunday night, you can pack a venue.
Yeah, actually, yeah, some of the best gigs I've been to have been on a Sunday night.
Mhm.
Never short of music.
So what's next for Teddy? What do you want to do the rest of the year? Any big plans?
So I've got an EP, my first EP coming out this year. So I
Mm.
think I've got one more. My next single is if it still goes to plan, the next single is probably the lead track of the EP, and then the EP will come out a few weeks after that. I'm trying to gig a bit more out of London now. So I love playing in London, but I'm starting to broaden my horizon. So recently I've been playing more in like Hertfordshire. I've got some stuff coming up in Brighton, just trying to play more various places in the UK. So a lot more releases, more gigs. That's what I've got planned for the year. Music video coming out in a couple of months, stuff like that.
Yeah, it looks like you've been releasing a single this year, like every few months.
I've been trying to get something out every like month to 2 months. So from the rest of the year and next year, I want to try and see if I can get a song out a month or like an EP out. So EP should be about 6 tracks. So some of them are out, some of them are new. So I've had them for a while. I'm looking forward to actually just getting them out into the world now.
And you've got quite a few videos that go along with them. One I noticed you did with Super 8.
Yeah, I see. I've got a bit of a fascination with Super 8. I think it's really cool. It's that thing you said earlier about vinyl, being able to hold the camera, and it was me and a friend of mine filmed that, and she's really into. She's a filmmaker, so she loves stuff like that. And it was really interesting because obviously you can't see what you're filming.
True.
So there was a slight heartbeat moment where we sent it off and we're like, what if it just comes back and there's no footage whatsoever or it doesn't work? But no, it was really fun. We kind of she lived on a boat, so we filmed on her boat, just walked all around London and tried to do so. I felt like Bleak for me feels that it's probably one of the most honest songs I've written, and I wanted a video that kind of just matched that. So just something really like DIY and heartfelt.
I loved it. And I was wondering, how the heck did you find film? Because I didn't even know people develop film anymore as far as for Super 8 or
Well, luckily Amazon was the
Amazon. Really? Is that where you can
I know.
find
I
it?
was surprised. I thought it would
Holy
be
cow.
I had to send it off somewhere else to obviously get it developed. But surprisingly, I think I got like the last roll of it left. But there was like I think we got 2 or 3 rolls, and they were literally the last in stock on Amazon, and we used all 3 up and managed to make the video work.
What are they, like 40 years old or something? I don't even know if people are still manufacturing. I'm wondering.
I don't think they are. I think we were just very lucky to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought that was fascinating because I mean, as a little kid, we had Super 8 8mm, and you'd have to mail them into a company and they mail back a little reel. So you had to have a projector in order to really see it, right? You got the little reel back, or
Well, I did get the reel back, but actually, I guess this is the joy of modern technology. When I sent it off, they sent me instantly just a digital version. So I managed to skip the projector. I have got the reel around somewhere, so maybe one day I'll have to get a projector out and actually watch it. But yeah, luckily I managed to send it off, and it was already digitalized for me. So then I just had to like cut and paste bits and edited the video to like how I wanted. Because also that was the thing. It's not like we filmed it in order, because you can't just stop. Here we go back. It's all one reel. Once that's gone, it's done. So it was a fun project because it was like we couldn't spend too much time on anything, or we kind of did a rough plan of what we wanted, but it was all very like spare of the moment and just walking around and we're like, this suits the vibe of the video, or oh, this would be really cool, or what, this might be a great shot. So it's just very DIY, very like fun. It was like a great day just to kind of sit down, a couple of ideas, see what we got out of it.
Well, I gave it a nice nostalgic feel, and the colors were kind of faded, like it was old or whatever, and it really was, I suppose.
Yeah, it really was.
In a sense. So, you said you're interested in venturing outside of London. Any chance of going up to like Manchester? There's a rich music scene up there.
Yeah, no, Manchester's, I've kind of just got a list of loads of places. So throughout the rest of this year and next year, I just want to travel wherever I can with music. And I know Manchester's got quite a big indie scene, so I think they'd like the stuff we do. I did some festivals recently, so I'd love to do some more festivals. That's such a great way to see other parts of the country. But yeah, Manchester, Brighton, Liverpool. One of my guitarists is from Scotland, so we're saying at some point make the journey up to Scotland, playing Glasgow and Edinburgh.
Well, maybe you can play at the Cavern.
That would be a dream.
It would be. They always have like during the day, acoustic people and, small bands and stuff. I looked up the history of the Water Rats where you played. I didn't know that was where Bob Dylan made his debut.
Yeah, I saw that when I said I played there. I kind of looked into it. There were so many iconic acts that have played there, but Bob Dylan, that was like a wow moment. Being like, oh, that's really
Isn't
cool.
that wild? Yeah, to be like in the same place where the man performed or whatever. That's pretty interesting. I've always wondered, because I'm not a musician over there, how do you find the gigs as far as the venues and stuff? Do you have an agent, or I'm just curious?
At this point, I don't have an agent. So what I do is I'll find like it kind of changes. Some place you contact like a promoter,
Mhm.
and they might represent several venues, or they might just do like one night somewhere, things like that. So I've done a few gigs through promoters. Sometimes you just contact the venue directly and they'll put you on. And then I've had quite a few now where like promoters will recognize you from what you've done before and be like, oh, you were really cool here. Could you play here for us? And stuff like that. So yeah, it's just kind of a lot of emailing and just reaching out to people.
That's great, because here it's a little bit more difficult. But I always wondered over there, how do you guys get the gigs, or And you're in festival season. I guess it's kind of ending summer, but maybe next summer you can get in on some festivals.
Yeah, we played our first one a couple of weeks back, but next
Oh,
year.
you did? Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
yeah, it was for BBC Introducing, so that was like a real high point of the summer. That was a lot of fun. But yeah, next year I'd love to try and get a few more in. Like summer packed full of music would be.
What's that like, being on stage at a festival with a ton of people?
Yeah, it was really cool, especially because there's a lot of people that like weren't there to see me, or like so it was nice. We managed to get a decent crowd in, which is always good, and spoke to a lot of people afterwards who enjoyed the set. But yeah, it was a different experience to playing like a gig in like a small little venue.
That's wonderful. So it looks like this year you're going to be releasing more music. What's your dream to do, like, down the road?
Dream. Well, eventually I'd love to do like a full length album. For now, I'll keep with the singles and the
Well, you have
EP.
enough material.
I do. I mean, yeah, I've got more than an album's worth, but I'd love to at some point do like not necessarily a concept album, but something like from beginning to end feels like one complete like project. Like I love things like OK Computer by Radiohead because I think that's just like such a solid album. Like listen to beginning to end, and it all feels so cohesive. So I'd love to do something like that at some point. I'd love to do like a proper tour, UK and abroad. Got a lot of goals for stuff like that, so a lot of hard work is needed. But yeah, play a lot more music, release a lot more music. That's kind of the goal.
One thing I noticed about your music, it would fit really well in movies, soundtracks and stuff like that. I don't know how people get into that, but that would be another option, I would
Oh,
suppose.
I'd love that. Like cinematic music is
Yeah,
such a big influence.
it fits
Especially,
really well. Yeah.
oh, I would love it. So that's another goal. I've been trying to contact some people, see if I can make it happen. So that's
Well, there's a lot of studios there.
yeah, exactly.
I mean, you're right in the heart of all the filmmaking and where they do all that stuff. That would be an option too. So what does Teddy do when he's not playing music?
Not much. It's a lot of playing and writing music, to be honest. I'm still, as I said earlier, like I was did a lot of theatre as a kid, so I'm still into my theatre. I love to go and watch new plays or musicals or whatever it is, but a lot of my time is just writing music, recording music, planning, like all the admin kind of side of it with releases and stuff like that. That's like a big chunk of my
Mhm.
time.
You've been playing music since you were a kid, I presume.
Yeah, I've just always kind of grown up. Like, I think I was probably that annoying kid that age 2 was trying to do a performance to everyone in the living room.
Mhm.
Like, I've always been just loved performing, loved
Mhm.
singing.
You have a great voice. I love, very melodic, goes great with the style too.
Oh, I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Mhm. Is there anything that you would want people to know about you that's not out there?
No, I think we've pretty much covered everything, to be honest.
Because it's kind of hard to find some information online. I just want to make sure that we get news out or something that you would want people to know, you know?
Uh, the main thing for me is like the releases coming out, which we've kind of covered, I guess. Yeah, I like being a little bit mysterious, not giving too much.
What are some up and coming bands that you kind of listen to?
So at the minute, they're massive at the minute. I really like Wet
Mhm.
Leg. I think they're really cool. The Objective, the Last Dinner Party I've just started listening to. They're really cool. They're kind of like ABBA meets Sparks meets Florence and the
Oh,
Machine. So there, I think, and also just like I've seen some like live footage of them. So I'm going to see them this week. I'm excited to see them. But
Mhm.
they're very like just their image on stage is really cool. It's almost like they dress almost medieval-esque. It's
Oh
like
my
they're
goodness, this sounds really neat.
yeah, it's like Sparks meets Florence and the Machine, which who
Kind
would
of
have loved that?
art rock, kind of art rock.
Yeah, it is actually.
Yeah,
It's quite
experimental, whatever. Wow, that sounds really neat. That's pretty cool. So,
old at the minute.
anyway, I've been enjoying your music in the car because I listen to Spotify in the car.
Oh,
And
that's
I
beautiful.
know all your songs. I've gone through each one and listened to everything. And like I said, I think my favorite is I Can't Wait to Forget, the acoustic version with just the simple piano. Gorgeous. It's gorgeous. That could be in a movie.
That's the goal. I'm going to try. I want to get.
Yeah, that's the one you want to get in the movie. To be honest, because it would be great in like one of those romantic, comedies or something.
Yeah, I see it. I see it.
I could kind of picture that in my head. So, well, thanks for talking with me and see you later. And it's been a pleasure speaking with you. Here is Teddy Clarke's song Bleak.
Somehow I'm still here standing just like how I was last year when I was telling you that this year I change. I'm still stuck in a job I don't want, can't go further than I've already gone, but suppose it's better than cleaning tables, I guess. Tell me how I've come around again. Thought by now I'd be where I wanted to get. All I see is grey, dull and bleak, but hey, maybe next year I'll do what I said. I just procrastinate, tell myself today can't be pushed back until tomorrow. I feel bleak, help me. I feel bleak, help me. Lately, my perception's been worse and I hate this. My ego's been burned, but maybe I needed to take the hit. So what now? I can't just keep saying how I'm gonna change things if the action's not there. What did I really expect? Tell me why I'm exactly where I left. Thought by now I'd be where I wanted to get. All I see is grey, dull and bleak, but hey, maybe next year I'll do what I say. Just procrastinate, tell myself today, care can be pushed back until tomorrow. I feel late, help me. I feel late, help me. Stay in bed, can't get out of my head. Tomorrow I'll be fine, said that so many times. Please, I feel bleak. Please, I feel.
You're listening to Rock at Night.
The introductory song, Get On Down, is from blues artist Billy Bass Alford. Look for his music at ReverbNation.com.